Today, we're going to dig into a self-help guide that's over a century old, but is kind of surprisingly finding a whole new audience right now. It's all about this wild idea that you can change your health and happiness with nothing but your thoughts. An idea that, might be more relevant today than it was back then. So let's just get right to it. Here's the big question. Can that little voice in your head, your own thoughts, actually physically change your health, your mental state? Well, according to this book from way back in the early 1900s, The Practice of Autosuggestion, the answer is a big, resounding yes. In fact, the book argues it's pretty much the key to, well, everything. It laid out this whole framework for using your own mind as a tool for some pretty radical self-improvement. Now, this core idea is called autosuggestion. And look, it's not just positive thinking or wishful thinking. It's an actual psychological technique. And it's all built around one powerful idea: internalization. The goal is to get a positive thought so deep into your mind, into your subconscious, that it starts to actually influence your physical and mental reality. So where did this all come from? Who came up with this stuff? Well, to get that, we need to meet the man who was the pioneer behind these methods. Let's dive into the world of Emile Coué. There are two key people in this story. First, you've got the author of the book, C. Harry Brooks. But really, he was kind of like a reporter, documenting the incredible work of the true pioneer here, Emile Coué. Coué was a French psychologist, and he's the one who actually developed all these methods. And to really see how these ideas worked, we have to go right to the source: Coué's clinic in Nancy, France. And this place wasn't just some doctor's office. No, it was more like a laboratory where the whole theory of autosuggestion really came to life. So if you're picturing some sterile, scary medical building, just erase that. The book describes the clinic as having a vibrant atmosphere. Coué's whole approach wasn't cold and clinical. It was gentle. It was super encouraging. It was all designed to make people feel powerful. So inside the clinic, the main focus was helping people get over their problems by completely changing how they saw themselves. And Coué's method was so unique. He didn't see his job as treating them. Nope. He was there to guide them, to get them to believe in their own power to heal. And the book is just packed with these case studies, these stories of incredible recoveries, all held up as proof of the power of thought. Okay, so that's the who and the where. But what about the how? How did Coué actually teach people to do this for themselves? Let's break down the actual art of autosuggestion. The process he taught was honestly beautifully simple. First up, you gotta pinpoint one specific thing you want to work on. Step 2, you create a really simple, positive phrase about it, but you say it like it's already true. And then the last step, this is the secret sauce, is internalization. You repeat that phrase when you're relaxed, not to force it, but just to let the idea drift past all your doubts and sink right into your subconscious. And that right there, that's the absolute heart of the whole thing. It's not about the words themselves, it's about the feeling of acceptance. The whole point is to kind of bypass that critical, doubtful part of your brain and plant an idea so deep that your mind and your body just accept it as the new reality. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like an interesting little piece of history, but is it really relevant now? Well, all the evidence suggests that this old school practice is having a major moment right now. Take a look at this number, 1002. What is that? It's not a year, not a price tag. That is the number of times people downloaded this 100-year-old book from just one free ebook website. And that was in the last 30 days alone. I mean, just think about that. For a book that's a century old, totally in the public domain, that's a huge number. It's just clear proof that people today are actively looking for exactly what Coué was teaching all those years ago. There's a real modern hunger for these ideas. And when you look at it this way, it's really no surprise it's so popular. The concepts are totally modern. We just use different words now. What Coué called autosuggestion, we'd probably call that mindfulness or positive affirmations. His power of thought, that's what we now study as the mind-body connection. And self-improvement, he was talking about mental wellness 100 years before it became a buzzword. The language has changed, but the core idea, that's absolutely timeless. So this all brings us back to a really simple but kind of powerful challenge. If this one idea has stuck around and resonated with people for more than 100 years, there has to be something to it, right? So the only question left to ask is for you. What one positive thought could you start with today?